You know, I woke up the other day and I was like, you know what the world really needs? More terrible guides made by people that don't know what they're talking about. So quick garbage guide about BMS. There's more comprehensive ones, but I think I'll just link them down in the description. Maybe don't take most of the things I say here too seriously. Now, BMS is short for B Music Source, and it's a file format developed before the new millennium by a Japanese guy. It's used primarily in simulators for Konami's Speedmania line of rhythm games, and it has a decent amount of extensions like BME, which I think increases the key count from 5 to 7, and BML, which I think just adds long notes, but nobody really makes the distinction between BME and BML, and generally like all of the new things are in BME. Now there's a few more things to note about the file format, but I don't really care, and neither should you, because the file format is a massive clusterfuck. I shit you not, some poor people on Discord had to bear witness to me ranting about the file format for like several hours, and eventually I just compiled that one rant into a text file of messages, and I can probably post it on Pastebin if anyone's interested, but trust me, you are not interested. Now the main programs people use to play BMS nowadays are Lunatic Rave 2, which is considered the gold standard, and Bitoraja, or however the fuck you pronounce it. I don't know, I don't care. Now, I'm going to start off talking about Lunatic Rave 2, and it's horrible. It fucking sucks. I'm pretty sure it hasn't had updates in literally a decade. It keeps crashing every 3 seconds. It has an unpreventable memory leak that you just have to cope with. And to make it run at a resolution higher than 640 by 480, you need a sketchy modified exe file. Like, why? Why would you do this to yourself? Okay, actually I know there are a lot of people who want to do this to themselves, be it for the internet ranking, or just plain nostalgia, or playing 2DX BMS converts. Little criminal. But outside of really niche use cases like this, using LR2 is a bad idea. Now generally I just recommend using Bitoraja because it's dead simple to set up, even if your fucking locale isn't set to Japanese. And in general it's just an objectively superior experience, even more so if you're just getting started with BMS. But there's two more honorable mentions that I would like to go over real quick. BMuse runs in a web browser and you can just pop it open anywhere, even inside a school library or whatever, and just go. It has a few songs you can pick from, but you can also just throw your own BMS folders in. The last BMS player that I would like to cover real quick is Quilight, which is available on Steam, which is a first for any BMS player. And it has the unique feature of multiplayer mode, which I don't think you're gonna be able to use unless you live in Korea or something, because to play it you need to have the same charts as everyone else in the lobby, and to share your charts, the game uploads them to a server in Korea, which everyone then needs to download it from. So if you wanna go that route, then you're fucked. But multiplayer isn't the only unique feature it has. For example, it brings to the table NVIDIA Reflex and Razer Chroma support, which isn't exactly necessary, but it's pretty nice to have. Configuring it is also a bit weird sometimes, and the translation is a bit wonky, but I've been working on it actually. I genuinely see a lot of potential in Quilight, and I'm definitely gonna keep an eye on its development, and so should you honestly, because it's shaping up to be pretty good. Now after covering all of the commonly used BMS players, I think one question remains. Where do I get BMS songs? Like with other rhythm games, charts are provided by the community. However, in those cases, it's usually illegal because the community members don't own the rights to the songs. That doesn't apply in this case though. Due to how the game works, you need to involve the artist to make a chart. A fundamental part of BMS is the key sounds, which means you press a key and it plays a sound corresponding to that key. Now each of those key sounds are their own audio file, separate from the rest of the song. So you have a bass track and you play the key sounds live, which means that you technically are playing the music yourself, so if your timing is off, you will hear it immediately. Should the background music in this sound a bit weird, then that means I have a skill issue. Anyway, to get those individual snippets of audio required for the key sounds, you need to have help from the artist. BMS songs are usually distributed at events, such as the biggest one, which is called BMS of Fighters. There isn't one centralized place to get BMS charts, they're kind of all over the place. To find what you want, you can usually just navigate the events page. However, in the case of older events, the download links are often dead. So sometimes to get one song you really want, you have to download the pack of an entire event, which can take up a lot of storage space. And depending on where you get the pack from, it can also take a lot of time to download, since a lot of the packs are stored on Japanese servers. Here we go again. However, for most of the packs there are mirrors, so you're saved from the 1 megabit download speed. For now. But if you're looking for one specific song, then you can also try checking bmssearch.net first. It's pretty much a list of all BMS songs from all of the events, and it also contains the download links, but once again, if the original download links are dead, then BMS search is not gonna help you either. In that case, great, you have to download the entire BMS pack now, for that one song. Enjoy. Now after saying all of that, it really sounds like BMS is extremely painful. And yes, it is painful. I can't argue with that. But the free, extremely high quality content made by the community for the community, it's totally worth it. In fact, some of it even made it into commercial rhythm games. It's just that good. So I do highly recommend that you give it a go, be it in BMuse or any other BMS player. Because once you get acquainted with the game mechanics and all the weirdness surrounding BMS, it's amazing and offers a rhythm game experience like no other. But that's all I have to say about it for now. If there's anything else I should cover, please let me know, and look forward to the next video that comes out whenever I feel like it. So probably like 10 years from now. Goodbye.